class 9th student. So today we start our lesson 11, major cultural trends. In this lesson we have to learn meaning of cultural trends, what is the meaning of rich culture and the definition of culture. So first of all, as you all know that the history of our country is only important when its cultural parameters are studied on the basis of science. So what is cultural parameters? So cultural parameters are the parameters which are showing by its antiquity, clarity, speciality, continuity and etc. And here we learn about the rich culture. So rich culture speciality is also its continuity, antiquity, spirituality and clarity. Now the definition of culture. So here you see the creative progress and flourishing of major and minor elements of civilization. It's called culture. That means the progress and flourishing of major and minor elements related to culture, just like their traditions, their main rituals and all are included in culture. Specific rituals and all are included in specific culture. Now start. Now cultural trends from ancient period. So cultural trends are known just as literature, paintings, architecture and dancing. So what means literature? Literature is considered as the mirror of society. Okay? Indian literature is very glorious and prosperous in Indian history. Literature is written evidence of history. Okay? And first of all, Indian literature has a vast store of Sanskrit literature. In Indian literature, most important literature is Vedic literature, Jain literature, Buddha literature and Mauryan period literature. So first, Vedic literature. In Vedic literature, main important literatures are Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda and Atharvaveda. These four Vedas are main and important literature in Vedic period. First literature is Rig Veda in Vedic literature, and after Rig Veda, the later Rig Veda literatures are Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharvaveda, Brahmanas, Aryanas and Upanishads. Sutra period literature is also important literature in Indian history. In this literature, Grahastra Sutra and Dharma Sutra are most important literature. And the epic period literature, in epic period literature in Indian history, two most important epics are Ramayana and Mahabharata. Vedic literature is very rich from the creativity point of view. Now Jain literature. So Jain literature has three branches: religious books, philosophical and secular writings. These chiefly have prose, poetries, grammar and dramas. Now Buddhism literature. In Buddhism literature greatly enriched in Pali and Sanskrit language. And most important Buddhism literature are in three baskets. These are Vinaya Pittika, Sutta Pittika and Abhidhanam Pittika. Now next is Mauryan period literature. So in Mauryan period literature, the literature related to inscriptions of Ashoka and Brahmani and Koshti language are mainly used in this period. So students, in literature we start, as I told you, that literature is a written evidence of Indian history, and Vedic literature is very rich from the creativity point of view, and in this literature has a very lively description of ancient Indian history. So in Vedic literature is divided in four parts, as you see in this chart. Rig Veda literature, it is related to Rig Veda. It is the pre this Yajurved, Samved, Atharvaved, Brahmas, Aranakas and Upanishads. These are the important literatures which are introduced in later Rigved literature. Okay, now Sutra period literature. So in Sutra period literature, Saurashtra, Grahastha Sutra and Dharma Sutra literature is important literature. And in epic period literature, Ramayana and Mahabharata, the two most important epics, are written in epic period literature. Ramayana and Mahabharata literatures were written which depict the social and political life during the period. Okay, so here's the Vedic literature which we classified by Rigved literature, later Rigved literature, Sutra period literature and epic period literature. Now come to Jain literature. So as I told you that Jain literature has three branches, and in this branches religious book, philosophical and secular writings are most important. And already I told you that Buddhism literature has greatly enriched the Pali and Sanskrit language, and in this literature the Sutta Pitaka contains virtues of Buddha's life and sermons on the four eternal truths. So here we learned about the Vedic literature, Jain literature, Buddha literature and Mauryan period literature. Our lesson 11, major cultural traits. We already learned about the culture and the cultural traits from the ancient period. So in literature we have to learn Vedic literature, and I already told you that in Vedic literature, pre-Vedic period, Rigvedic literature introduced. Later Rigvedic literature is also introduced in middle of Vedic period. Then Sutra period literature and epic period literature. Vedic period literature is very rich from the creativity point of view. The literature of this period has a very lively description of ancient life and values. Vedic literature includes the Vedas, the Brahmanas, the Aranakas and the Upanishads, the Vedantas, the epics, the Smritis and the Puranas, etc. So the Vedas are four in numbers, as I taught you, that the Rigved, the Yajurved, the Samved and the Atharvaved. The oldest of Vedic literature is the Rigved. During the epic periods, epics like the Mahabharata and Ramayana were written which depict the social and political life during the period. The Ramayana was composed by Maharishi Valmiki and the Mahabharata was composed by Vedvyas. Now come to the Jain literature. So Jain literature has three branches. First one is religious books, then philosophical and secular writings. These chiefly have prose, legends, grammar and dramas. Out of these, most of the compositions are still in the form of manuscripts and are found in Chaityas of Gujarat and Rajasthan. The compositions are Angas, Prakiran, Cheda, Sutra and Mal Sutra. Towards the last stages, while writing discourses, the Sanskrit language was used instead of Prakrit. The work in grammar and poetry, writings in Sanskrit, contributed a lot to the growth of this language. The prominent books in Jain literature are Kalpa Sutra and Bharda Bahu and the Parikshit Pravan of Hemachandra. Now next is Buddhist literature. So Buddhist literature has greatly enriched the Pali and Sanskrit language. This literature is mainly written in Sanskrit and Pali language. Buddhism has विनय पिटिका में डेली लाइफ से के रिगार्डिंग जो भी रूल्स रेगुलेशंस हैं वो मेंशन किए हुए हैं. नेक्स्ट इज द Sutta Pitaka contains virtues and buddhas, discourses and sermons on the four eternal. Abhidhamma Pitaka contains the philosophical development of teachings of Buddha. Buddhist literature also includes Deepvansh, Mahavansa, Divyadan, Milinda, Pana, Mahabodhi Vansa, Mahavansa like Aryamanushree, Mughal, etc. Okay, so there are sufficient evidences of Mauryan period literature. Through the inscriptions of Ashoka, it seems that two types of scripts were used. In Ashoka's duration, two types of scripts are used. First one is Brahmi and second is Kharoshthi. Okay, Brahmi and Kharoshthi inscripts are used in Ashoka's period. Kautilya wrote on Arthashastra during this period. Now, during the Sunga Satvana period, there were scholars like Patanjali who wrote the Mahabhashaya on Panis and presented the rules of Sanskrit language in revised form. Kalidasa describes the Ashwamedh Yagya of Pushyamitra Sangha and Agnimitra's war with the state of Vidarbha. The famous book Charak Samhita was written during this period. So, here's I told you about some author and their literary work. So, Hari Sena wrote Allahabad pillar inscription. Kalidas wrote Abhigyanam Shakuntalam, Ritu Sambhara and Raghuvansham. Sudraka wrote Mirchakatikam. Vishnu Sharma wrote Panchatattva. Aryabhatta wrote Aryabhatyam and Varamihi wrote Britta Sahita. So these are the main authors and their literary works in Mauryan period. So students, here our Vedic culture which is distributed in Rigveda literature, later Rigveda literature, Sutra period and Epic period literature. Here's in our next video we will discuss the literature of Gupta period. Chapter 14, the Age of Magnificence, we learned about Akbar's religion and reign, and in this lesson we learned about the Jahangir's major trends and major events of Jahangir's reign. In Jahangir's major reign, we learned about Mewar, Katra and Ahmednagar, relationships with the Sikhs, struggle with the Afghans, revolt of Prince Khurram, and relations with the Portuguese and British. So, with the relations of Portuguese and British, Portuguese were not satisfied with their trade in India, and that is the main reason they became pirates and started attacking on Indian ships. And Jahangir became very angry about this, and when the Portuguese were not ready to correct themselves, he forbade them to trade with the Indians, and that is the main reason that the relationship with the Portuguese and British are not so good with Jahangir or Mughal Empire. And Jahangir is the lover of the justice and art and literature. He had so much interest in literature. He had written his autobiography, whose name was Tujhke Jahangir. He wrote it in Persian language, and it is a unique piece of literature of Mauryan period. Okay, and another important achievement of Jahangir's reign is his judicial system. As I told you that in his empire, a golden chain with bells was hung on the wall and on the wall of the palace, and then any type of arrival person who pull the chain and ask for justice from the emperor. So it says that Jahangir was the lover of justice, art and literature. He married to Noor Jahan. Noor Jahan was a beautiful and intelligent woman. Okay. So students, now in the next video we will discuss